This is a video to Holy Kool-Aid in regard to his episode Sapient Sundays or Saturdays, How to Convert an Atheist. Now, the reason I'm making this video is that I'm not a traditional theist, and I think that I'm first of all excited, and so I want to make a video about this to bookmark this idea. And this is not going to be the final video, this is just me explaining the basic essence of what I want to talk about, and then also explaining where I'm coming from. In essence, this is a disclaimer and an invitation to look into some material that I'm going to be working with more in the future, so that this idea can be presented. This idea is to start with that it is possible to test the supernatural, and that the supernatural is a lot closer to home than you might think. I think the definition for God that people commonly use is inaccurate and wrong. I've talked about this before, and generally I've gotten the response of, well, no, you're not using the dictionary definition, that's what God means, you're wrong. The dictionary definition is God is omnipotent, omnipresent, a bunch of things, and is a religious figure of one of these beliefs, Hindu, Christian, Jew, or whatever. That's what God is. And I think that that is inaccurate. And by inaccurate, I mean it does not reflect the reality of what God is. And what I mean by God is I will give a definition for what I mean by God. When I've talked about this before, I've talked about this definition that I just talked about was 2 plus 2 equals 5, i.e. wrong. And when I've suggested a better definition, 2 plus 2 equals 4, people were telling me, well, no, you need to use the correct definition, 2 plus 2 equals 5, which is wrong. So it's the correct one that's wrong. I'd like to use the wrong definition that is correct, then. And that definition is, God is the fractal energy. God is the fractured energy that, by being fractal, has amnesia and thereby physical experiences. The importance of this is in relation to the basic idea of the holographic model of the universe. And the importance of that is that I'm not claiming any specific God. I'm claiming the general idea of God, and by that I mean it is not a specific entity, such as the Christian God, the Jewish God, the Hindu God, or whatever. All those gods are a scrambled form, a messed up form of the true God, which is what all of them are originally about, and are personified forms for each culture that tried to go to the source of things, go to the godhood of stuff. This goes to the idea that, and the important thing here is, and what this relates to is DNA. The reason for this is that in my finger, all of the information for all the other various parts of my body is contained. But I'm not manifesting a brain, an eye, or a toe. I'm manifesting a finger. And that's important because if I was manifesting all of the information contained in each cell in this finger, I would not be a functional human being. You would not either if you did that. Each of your cells manifests physically a different and specific aspect of your body. They have a lot more information in all of your cells than actually physically expresses. The importance of this is to explain the dichotomy between the omnipresence and then the lack of the omnipresence. It is not functional for God to be omnipresent in physical form. The reason for this is that if there's only one entity, because that's the basic idea, the scientific statement generally is taken to be, it's somewhat of an assumption, that energy cannot be created or destroyed but merely transforms. If there's only one thing, then there's no possibility of interaction. Interaction is just rendered null. And if there's no interaction, nothing happens. There's no time and space, there's just nothing. There's just a same blandness all everywhere. And that's what you get with an objective reality. Objective reality doesn't exist for that reason. So the only thing that you can have is the combination of subject, the consciousness that is the energy that is viewing something, and then the object, or objective subjective consciousness, that which you are looking at, looking to you, or you are absorbing the photons thereof. So, the same way that we have space-time and time-space, we have subjective-objective and objective-subjective. When you go too far into subjectivity, you go into a black hole of thought where you are the center of the entire world and everything revolves around you. Narcissism. And when you go the opposite direction where you deny that you even exist, that's what scientists have often tried to do, be completely and utterly objective where they are themselves removed from the equations of what they're observing. And that's actually an unscientific thing to do. They then try to have everything be as the same as possible, to even the exclusion of their own existence as being part of the experiment of looking at things. And with quantum mechanics, this has been shown to be a faulty way of looking at the world. It has been shown by the non-locality of the experiments, that has been proven by the experiments, that it is not the case that we are disconnected from everything else around us. We are connected to everything. And that is because without the acknowledging the if everything was not connected, then it would not be possible to interact with anything else. That I'm able to talk with you, then we're able to do this interaction, means that we're connected. Now, I could, of course, go off of this phone, I could not do this video, but I'm still connected to you via the non-digital physical world. bit of a splitting hairs there, but the point is that we are nonetheless still connected. Even if I go out of physical form, you are still connected with the world around you, which is energy, which then contains and holds the event of my existence. Same with yours and everyone else's. So we are on a long stream of a history of consciousness. And the point of all of this is showing and explaining how our conception of God is detrimental to most conversations about the means to understand and look at consciousness. The book that I am looking at in relation to this is, it's backwards. The Sourcefield Investigations by David Wilcock. A few years ago in 2012, I was very much into this book, and I had trouble with verifying a lot of things that were said in there, and I'm revisiting it to re-verify the stuff and also put it in my own words too. And a few of the things of note in here are that on page 240, talking about how on September 14th, 2001, there was a worldwide prayer for peace that involved many beloved figures and was broadcast on all major television stations around the planet. Millions and millions of people participated in this global meditation. Amazingly, during this exact time, the graph showed a huge effect in the opposite direction from where they went in 9/11. So, this is the terrorist attacks in regards to September 11th, 2011, and shows them spiking during that time. Now, the importance of this thing is it might be simply a matter of scale, that the prayers for those people weren't that detectable. And as well, because of the individuated nature of it, it might have been for that reason detrimental to having experimentally verifiable effects, and that would then mean that it would seem to be disproved. It might simply be that you're using the wrong scale. What was there? I thought there was something else. There is. So his friend Dr. Clyde Swanson, an MIT graduate and former applied physics consultant for a variety of government, military, and private corporations, summed it up very nicely in his excellent book, The Synchronized Universe. Let's just go straight to it. James Tyman has led several worldwide synchronized group prayers for peace. Those prayers had measurable effects and even altered the physics of the quantum background and the level of chaos worldwide for a time, as discovered in the Global Consciousness Project. He observes the following: conflict in the world is the result of conflict within us. Okay, so you're basically saying that the wars in the world are the result of the conflict in us. I suggest taking another look at consciousness studies because I think a lot can be gleaned from them. And as well, I'm not sure that the scale of direct person-to-person is the best means for finding verifiable experimental results. This is on page 241, 240 of the Source Field Investigations. And if you want to know information, if you want more references, I can give those to you. I'm currently reviewing it myself to find out if it is verifiable for myself. I am looking to make this comprehensible, not just for those who are quote-unquote believers, such as New Agers, but for everyone, including atheists. Because I have had a very strong friendship and enjoyment for atheist perspectives. I went from Christian to atheist, and now I'm a panentheist, and I see atheists as my peers. I understand and appreciate the method of being critical, and I want to use that and show that critically and scientifically, it is the case that the supernatural can be experimentally verified. I don't think that the traditionally religious will be very happy by the results, though. Christians and Muslims and so forth, their gods are the scrambled form of the source field. It is cultural conditioning, and that is why I think that you will find it easier to talk with me about these matters, because I also disagree with that conception of God.